This is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. Once again, we're working on the 352 project. I should have a whole lot of pistons coming in hopefully next week, so I can start jumping on some other things. But right now I've just been shooting parts out the door and working on JJ here. So the last time that we dynoed this engine, it made 512 horsepower with a pair of 660s bolted on inline. I did order another set of carburetors from Drew, and I ordered a pair of 660s and had him put metering blocks and bowls on the rear of the carburetor so we can have them a little bit more tunable. And I'm going to mount them sideways, and that's why I began setting up my tunnel ram linkage the way that we had it mocked up before on the dyno with the inline carburetors. It was just really hard to pull. So we're going to do it upright this time. And if you notice, I've got a pair of MagnaFuel shear plates, and this is going to be probably a very welcome addition to the engine. A shear plate is used. They're also called anti-reversion plates. They're used when you have a large camshaft with a lot of overlap in combination with an intake manifold that's got a straight shot from the valve to the carburetor. So we don't want any reversion at the carburetor. That clouds the signal up, and we want to get away from that as much as we can. So on tunnel rams and sheet metal intakes, it's very common to run these shear plates, and they're about a 1/2 inch thick. They've got a little bit sticking through into the plenum of the intake manifold. So we're going to run these. We're going to run a pair of 660s that have been modified, and just got a couple more things I want to try on the engine before I go inside. And I actually had already planned to go on inside, but the carburetors that I had were borrowed and I had to return those. So I thought, well, any change that I make from here on out, you know, I will need another baseline before I do that so I can see what the differences are. So that's why I ordered up a set of carbs for myself, and we're going to try the shear plates and the new carburetors and see what that does for us, and then we'll probably go inside. So as you can see, this is why the anti-reversion shear plates come in handy. If I had a pin light on, you could probably see the valve stem from here, and it's just a straight shot to the carburetor. So we are going to give this a shot. And I'm not a fan of the big bright purple anodization, so I'm going to get acquainted with a can of Easy Off here in a few minutes and get rid of the anodized portion of the shear plate and get these to a natural aluminum looking piece so that my nice Ford blue engine isn't marred by this bright purple. All right, so on to that step. All right, so some Easy Off oven cleaner and a little glass beading. Later, we are to natural aluminum finish on our shear plates. So we're gonna set our carburetor gaskets on and get ready to bolt up our carbs. All right, so got the carburetors on, and these are a pair of 660s, and I had Drew convert them to a rear metering block and a conventional style bowl so that I can mount these sideways and have extra tuning ability on both sides of the carburetor, front and rear, which will be left side and right side on the engine. Carburetors look great. I'm very pleased with them. Drew does excellent work. The first snag that I see, this one has no problem with clearance because The throttle linkage is on this side of the tunnel ram. This one is going to hit right off the bat, even with this 1/2-inch spacer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set my linkages up as they would be, and then I'll just have this linkage, the little heim joint connection that goes straight up from here. I'll have to lengthen that, but I'm going to end up putting another 1/2-inch spacer on top or underneath or something. I'll figure that out, but I'll probably end up with another 1/2-inch open spacer just to get everything up out of the way. I tried a 1-inch super sucker here, and it allowed me the clearance, but I'm really wanting the shear plate under these carburetors. So I'm going to go ahead and get the linkages set up, and then I can adjust it for when the other spacers come in. All right, so I got some preliminary linkage set up, and this is about all I can do at this point, since I do need an additional spacer underneath the carburetor, because it'll throw some of this geometry off. But at least I got a good handle on you know, general layout of everything. But that's where we stand so far, and just need some 1/2-inch spacers to go underneath to give us some more clearance here, and we'll be ready to roll. All right, so I didn't post last week, didn't have a lot going on, waiting on pistons, waiting on crankshafts, waiting on a bunch of parts to show up. But once again, here at the end of the week, I'm able to play a little bit with JJ here and get him further down the road with the next iteration. All right, guys, you have a good weekend, have a good Father's Day, and I'll catch you next week.